After the election results were finally announced, I, ready to put this election behind me, put up my Christmas tree. I always feel better when I start adding some cheer in my home. So I thought that you might need some cheer as well. So I've decided to add some cheer in this show for the next few weeks. We're going to look at holiday themed movies and television and bring you a little cheer wherever you are. And this is for everyone, whether you celebrate Christmas or otherwise. Feel free to keep enjoying these very special episodes of the podcast. We'll talk about new shows and movies, and we'll touch a few of the classics as well. This week, I'm reviewing Netflix's Dash and Lily. I'm Ronald Young Jr., and I'm on the couch. All right, this is Ronald, and I am on the couch after watching Dash and Lily on Netflix. That's Dash and Lily, created by Joe Tracz, starring Midori Francis, Austin Abrams, Dante Brown, and Troy Iwata, based on Dash and Lily's Book of Dares by Rachel Cohn and David Levithan. Dash and Lily is about two teenagers who start writing each other notes in a notebook that they pass back and forth through various ways that they meet up. So they drop it off here, they drop it off there. There's friends that help them, so on and so forth, but they don't know who each other are. And they kind of came upon each other because they both like this little quirky bookshop in New York City. This is set in New York City. These are teenagers and they are on holiday break. So they have a lot of time to do things like run around the city, passing a notebook back and forth to each other. It is a very much a romance. I wouldn't call it a romantic comedy. There are some funny parts, but it's more of a straight romance. Very teenage, very angsty in some ways. There were parts of me that kind of wished that they weren't teenagers, because there's something about when they cast teenagers in movies like this, or when they do movies like this. And I know maybe I'm not the target audience for this. It was TV 14, but I saw the preview and looked kind of cute and seasonal to watch, which is why I chose it. But sometimes when I see things like this, where they have teenagers that are kind of just running around doing their own thing, like there's no parental supervision, and then parents kind of pop up now and then just to kind of be obstacles, it always feels a little lazy to me. It feels like they could do something different. And it seems like because the actors playing these people are typically in their early 20s, I'm like, why can't these people just be like, first year college students or something like that? Because then all the agency makes sense, because a lot of the running around we're doing, as old teenagers or very, very young adults is really when we're in college. That's when we're really making like silly decisions and doing a lot of that stuff. And I'm not saying that people aren't doing it in high school, but just watching this and if you watch this, you'll see it just seems like they have a lot more autonomy than I would expect teenagers to have. And especially later into the series, like there's some situations that Lily in particular gets into where I'm like, I see this would have made plenty of sense if she were just like a first year college student. It would have made absolutely the same amount of sense. But I don't know. And I think maybe because the characters were teenagers, maybe in the book, and it was a YA novel, maybe that's why they keep it like this. But age wasn't terribly important. But everything from the way they talk to each other to the way they relate to the world doesn't seem very teenaged at all. And everybody in this series seems like they just have a lot of money. Except of course for the lonely black best friend who is relegated to the role of best friend. And at one point I'm watching it, and the way he interacted with one of the lead characters, Lily, in the show, I was watching and I was like, I feel like he could have easily been the romantic lead in this series. And one thing that bothered me was, of course, they have two people that they're bringing together. They have this guy, Dash, who's played by Austin Abrams, who is, set up to be a loner who doesn't really like Christmas, bah humbug, that type of guy. And you have Lily, who's quirky and views the world differently, loves family, loves the holidays, loves Christmas. And they kind of just, the writing just sets them on a collision course for each other. They are meant to be. Anything that gets in their way is just going to be, cannon fodder or just thrown to the side. We don't need to worry about anything that is not these two getting together. And I think this series gets itself into trouble in that way because it introduces other elements or other people that they could be with. And then basically be like, nah, they're not, they're not supposed to be with these other people. They're supposed to be with each other. And I don't know if that's a trope of romance movies, romantic comedies, or Christmas movies, but they shove it all in here together. All of that being said, I don't think that took away from how I felt watching this. I felt good watching this. This is a year when we need to have a little more joy. We need to be leaning into the Christmas spirit. And it just feels like, and I'll say Christmas and or holiday spirit and or whatever this capitalist kind of monolith we have at the end of the year as it goes, leaning into it is helpful right now because a lot of people feel a lot of different ways about this time of year. And it doesn't seem like it's wrong for us to just have a little bit joy and cheer right now. And this movie brings the joy and cheer. It's any movie. I keep calling it a movie, but any series that has just New York with ice and snow, and there's no COVID in this universe. So everyone's around each other and in each other's faces. It just seems like a time that we all long for, that we can't have right now, but we all long for it. So it feels very good to watch something like that, even though a lot of us may not experience that. And I enjoyed that about this movie more than I enjoyed necessarily the plot. And I think some people will enjoy the plot. I'll probably forget about this, but this series, not long after I watch it, I don't think I will rewatch it. I not because I didn't enjoy it, just because there was nothing super remarkable about it, except for these few things. The first thing is that Lily, who's portrayed by Midori Francis, is a great actress. One, she does a really good job in the movie, and the character was written so well that I was rooting for her in a way that I don't really root for characters. I was rooting for her and saying, yeah, you can do this. You don't need him. You don't need Dash. This shouldn't even be about you pursuing him or any of that. This should just be about you going out there and making friendships and being awesome. You have your own agency. You have your own autonomy. Just, go out there. And there's a subplot with her parents and her grandparents that, is interesting, but they brought so much richness to her character. And she's biracial. Her mother is, I believe, Japanese, and her father is white. And her and her brother are both biracial, but they're very close to their parents and their grandparents. So to see this type of interracial and biracial family, all together felt very, very progressive to see on screen. So that's the first thing, Lily and her entire backstory. Secondly, the inclusiveness they did in this. Her brother is gay. She's in a caroling troupe with a trans person. Lots of representation going on here. So it felt good to watch that, and felt the way that they put it in there was not ham-fisted. It was not and it wasn't, it was meant to be very casual, very, this is what's happening. And nobody in the show, kind of, signposted it in a way that was like, yeah, that's right, we're allies. It was kind of just set there like, okay, this is also a part of her life and we're moving on, and which I feels like a win for inclusion. Those things, I think that about the movie, the agency they give Lily, the way they wrote her character, while on the other hand, I feel like Dash's character is not written as well. I feel like he is just a standard romantic male lead, where it's just like guy, angsty, will I ever find it? I hate people. I need somebody to warm my cold heart. And I didn't enjoy that. I didn't enjoy him. He didn't do a bad job acting or anything like that. I just thought he was poorly written. I thought they could have written a guy that just, I don't know, had maybe more layers, a little more depth, and the depth that they tried to force in there through his relationship with his ex-girlfriend. it almost felt like a pump fake, and it felt like it took away from the agency that his ex-girlfriend has in choosing the type of partner that she would want, or the even reason why she is his ex-girlfriend. So I thought, just writing wise, there's a lot of holes here. Now, some of you guys are listening to this and saying, Ronald, should I watch this for the holidays or not? Yes, watch it, because I think you're going to enjoy it. I think for the most part, everything I said is forgivable when it comes to a holiday movie. You're going to watch, holiday series. I think you're going to watch it. I think you're going to enjoy it. I think you're going to say, oh, I think there's going to be a lot of like cutesy things that you enjoy. I think it's something that's safe to watch with your kids. I think it's safe to watch with your spouse, whoever, your partner, whoever. I think there's a lot of good things there, but it's not perfect. It's by and large not perfect. But it wasn't, it was a good time. And I think this is an appropriate movie to start off your holiday season. Like if you're looking for something just entry level to get you revved up and ready to go before you watch Love Actually, this is something to get you into the mood. So I enjoyed it. I would give it 3 of 5 jingle bells, aka stars. 3 of 5 stars. And with that, Leaving the Theater is a production of ohitsBigRon Studios. Theme music by the mysterious Breakmaster Cylinder. To find out more about this show and other ohitsBigRon Studios shows, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ohitsBigRon. That's at ohitsBigRon. If you like this show, check out our sister show, Time Well Spent. Leaving the Theater will be back soon, but until then, I'll be here on the couch.